George Russell has suddenly found himself at the center of a swirling Formula One rumor storm, with whispers linking him to a shock move to Red Bull. But the real power players in this unfolding drama might just be Max Verstappen and his current teammate, Sergio Perez. In a twist that few could have predicted, we may be heading toward a blockbuster shakeup that flips familiar rivalries on their heads. Perez potentially switching to Mercedes, and Russell landing at Red Bull. Old battles could reignite, only this time with roles reversed. So what needs to fall into place for this seismic shift to actually happen? And more importantly, how much influence does Verstappen really hold in all of this? The upcoming silly season could be one of the most dramatic and most political in recent memory. Ironically, the dominoes might start falling not from a struggling team, but from the one that has defined dominance in the current regulation era, Red Bull. The once untouchable energy drink powerhouse is showing cracks, and Verstappen is facing a career-defining decision. His contract reportedly includes an escape clause, one Helmut Marko has hinted must be seriously considered during the summer break. If Max is no longer consistently in the top 2 or 3, he has the option to walk away. And 2 teams are already preparing their pitches. Mercedes offers the legacy, the engine pedigree of the hybrid era, and a leadership void left by Lewis Hamilton's departure. But Aston Martin is quietly becoming the dark horse. With Honda joining forces, Adrian Newey reportedly consulting, and a state-of-the-art facility now operational in Silverstone, Aston could be a powerhouse in waiting for 2026. Add to that a rumored $300 million 3-year offer for Verstappen, and the appeal becomes hard to ignore, especially if he's paired with a non-threatening teammate like Lance Stroll. No internal politics, no pressure, just a clear number first status. If Verstappen takes the leap and leaves Red Bull, it would be a shockwave far greater than Hamilton's move to Ferrari. Red Bull wouldn't just lose their star, they'd be left without a ready-made successor. While talents like Isaac Hadjar show promise in the junior ranks, they're not yet seasoned enough to lead a team with championship expectations. In such a scenario, Red Bull would need an experienced, fast, and proven name. That's where George Russell enters the frame. Quiet discussions between Russell and Red Bull's top brass, including Christian Horner, have reportedly taken place. If Verstappen walks, or if Mercedes makes a serious push for him, Red Bull may turn to Russell as the new face of their next era. It's a move that would allow Red Bull to steady the ship, while also making room in the junior team for someone like Arvid Lindblad, their rising star in the making. But Russell has pressure of his own. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, Mercedes' rising prodigy, is making waves despite his rookie status. If he continues to deliver, Russell's place at Mercedes may no longer be guaranteed, forcing him to weigh his long-term options. So we could be heading into a 2025 to 2026 reset where Verstappen goes green, Russell goes red, and the grid gets turned upside down. What was once unthinkable is now very much on the table. George Russell's contract situation at Mercedes is raising eyebrows, and not just among fans. Despite public reassurances from Toto Wolff and Russell himself, it's clear something isn't fully settled. Sky Sports' Martin Brundle even voiced his skepticism, pointing out that for a driver of Russell's caliber, not having a deal locked in this late is unusual. They say they're managing the situation, Brundle noted, but if he had a contract, it would certainly put his mind at ease. All of this opens the door to a wild possibility. Sergio Perez making the leap to Mercedes, and Russell heading to Red Bull. Perez has come under heavy criticism during his time at Red Bull, but recent performances by Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson in the RB21 suggest something deeper. It's not just about the drivers. Perhaps the car itself has fundamental limitations. Yes, Perez has struggled at times to adapt, but his driving style is unique, and not every driver can mold themselves to a machine that works against their strengths. What's more, Cadillac has already shown serious interest in signing Perez for their F1 entry. His popularity in the US and the commercial value he brings make him an attractive option, not just on the track, but in the boardroom. Cadillac team director and former F1 champion Mario Andretti has already hinted that Perez is high on their list. Reports say talks were held at the Miami GP, and an announcement could be imminent. But for now, Perez may want to wait, because a seat at Mercedes might just be opening up. If Mercedes decides that Andrea Kimi Antonelli is their future, and early signs suggest he might be, then Russell could be seen as the odd man out, especially if Verstappen chooses to leave Red Bull for Mercedes. That move would trigger a cascade: Verstappen to Mercedes, Russell to Red Bull, and Perez becomes a prime candidate for Brackley. And there's precedent. When Hamilton announced his Ferrari switch, Toto Wolff reportedly dismissed the idea of Perez joining the team, based on his performance in a competitive Red Bull car. But the narrative has shifted, with Red Bull's performance more scrutinized than ever, and their second car looking far less dominant. Perez's struggles seem less personal and more circumstantial. Reports from motorsport.com suggest preliminary conversations have already taken place between Mercedes and Perez's camp. That alone signals he's on their radar should their current trajectory shift. But Perez isn't only being courted by Cadillac and potentially Mercedes. A surprising third player is now in the mix. Alpine, under the new leadership of Flavio Briatore and a fresh direction for the team, including the likely promotion of Franco Colapinto and uncertainty around Jack Doohan. Alpine may soon be in the market for a proven, experienced race winner. With Mercedes engines in the back and ambitions to move up the midfield, they need both funding and star power. Two things Perez can bring. Briatore, one of the shrewdest operators in the sport, will know how to use Checo's marketability and experience to Alpine's advantage. That sets up an intriguing scenario. Two former Red Bull drivers, Perez and Gasly, potentially lining up together at Alpine. Still, Mercedes remains a very real and logical option for Checo, especially if Russell walks. The big unknown is Verstappen. If Max jumps ship for Aston Martin, that could force Mercedes to secure a balanced pairing. Antonelli, the rising star, alongside a seasoned campaigner like Perez who can guide development and score steady points. So, with all these moving parts, Russell's future uncertain, Verstappen potentially leaving, and Perez suddenly a hot commodity again, the real question becomes, if Russell signs for Red Bull, does Perez become the perfect piece of Mercedes' 2026 puzzle? Let us know what you think. Is this the start of the wildest silly season in recent memory? Comments below. And once you're done, don't forget to click on the video that's popping up on your screen right now. And don't forget to subscribe my channel.